Throw the flowers. Throw the flowers. Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Good job. Yes.
What? I'm scared. That's
Okay. Right up a little bit. Perfect. Stop right there. Right next to. Perfect. All right. It doesn't just happen. It takes a lifetime of work. It takes a lot of believing, a lot of trust, and it takes a lot of love. And I know that both of you are here today because the love that you guys have for one another. That's why we're here to celebrate that love with you too. You see, marriage by its very nature, it's in its understanding, it's more than just an event. It's more than just an emotion. It's the actual taking of another person for all their best and for all the best things in life. And therefore, it should not be entered into unadvisedly or lightly, but very discreetly and very soberly. And so today, on behalf of Lionel and Vonnie, they want to thank, as I said, each and every one of you for being here today and for sharing with them on this very extraordinary day. They want to thank you for all that you've given them, your love, your friendship, your support, and even all the things that you'll share with them in the years to come. And so with this, who presents this woman to be married to this man? You and Abby? Okay.
All our families.
The whole family. Okay. Lionel, you're going to take your bride. You may be seated this evening. Thanks, face up. As you can see tonight, this is a little different. There's instead of Lionel having a best man, he's got his best sister. And instead of Vonnie having her maid of honor, she's got her man of honor. That's her little brother. And so these are the people that are important to their lives. And that's what makes this marriage, this wedding ceremony, so unique and so special, because they've chosen each person that they wanted to be a part, and they chose the people that they wanted to be here tonight. And that's why I said that they've chosen you, because you people are important to them, and you people mean a lot to them. And I want you to know, Lionel and Vonnie, because marriage is something that God's created. It's not man's ideal, but God's ideal. It's only appropriate that at this point that before we go any further, that we just ask God's blessings on this ceremony. So if you'll bow your heads with us this evening, we're going to go before the Lord, and we're going to ask His blessings over this couple and over this wedding ceremony. Lord, today we come to celebrate the love of Lionel and Vonnie, and we ask that your presence be with them as they come to seek your blessing and as they make their vows one to another, Lord, before you and before their family and friends. We ask that you would just strengthen them as they undertake this holy endeavor, and that you grant them favor as they pledge their love one to another. Amen. Amen. You know, Lionel and Vonnie, one man once put it this way. He said that love doesn't mean that you're never going to feel pain or that your life is going to be free from care and from any problems. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be hurt and that your life is going to be perfect with every moment consumed with happiness. But love does mean that you're always going to have a companion. You're always going to have your best friend standing there by your side, someone to help you through your difficult times, and someone to also rejoice with you in your time of celebration. And love does mean that each one of your arguments, which you guys don't argue though, right? Disagreements, misunderstandings, those times they'll be followed with a time of forgiveness. And each sorrow, when you're going through life's hardships, those sorrows will be followed by a time that there'll be tender moments that you'll spend in each other's arms and just comforting one another when you're going through those hardships in life. Because I want you two to know that love is a miracle that can take two lives and mold them into one. It can take two souls and bind them for life. It can take two hearts and fill them with enough passion and with enough tenderness to last a lifetime. And love is the blessing that has brought you guys down life's path and has brought you to this place and to this point in your guys' relationship that you guys are committing your lives one to another. And you know, Vonnie, I asked Lionel what it was about you. Besides your outer beauty, I said, what is it about Vonnie that's made you come to this place in your guys' relationship that you want to commit yourself to this relationship and share the rest of your life with her? And Lionel said the thing that makes him so sure about what he's doing today, he said that you're just an amazing woman. He says you never met somebody with such a huge heart. He says that you have, and it's not a medical issue, he says you have an enlarged heart. This huge heart that you're always making sure that he's feeling taken care of. And the people around you, your friends and your family, you're always making them feel loved and secure. And that's the gift that you have. And he says that stands out to him. I told him, don't ever forget that. And you know, Lionel, I asked Vonnie what it was about you and that made her come to this place. And you know, Lionel, Vonnie told me the thing that makes her so sure about what she's doing today, she said, besides your debonair looks, she said the thing that makes her so sure about what she's doing today, she says that when she sees you, and because of her nature, you accept the love that she shares with you. You receive it. You enjoy it. You appreciate that love that she shows you, because she says that she can see that when she loves you, you feel special. And it makes her feel special. And she says, not today, not only is she marrying the love of her heart, but she says today she's marrying her best friend. You're her best friend. And she says that she knows that you'll stick with her through the thick and thin. And that's why you guys have come to this place in your guys' relationship, because there's these special things that you guys have seen in each other that's brought you closer as than just friends. But now you're partners, and you're going to journey through life. And I want you to know that you guys have chosen each other, and you wouldn't be here right now if you hadn't discovered, first of all, that friendship that's made you guys close and made you guys fall in love. And marriage, it's a common event. It happens almost every day, and it's somewhat taken for granted. But when you think about love and you think about marriage and the commitment that's in there, it's kind of a mystery when two different people from two different upbringings can come together to work together, to achieve together, and to find happiness together. So both of you are very blessed to have found each other. And I know that your friends and your family, they can attest to the compatibility, the love that they see between you two guys. But let me share 3 ingredients that can help you guys to go a long ways. And I'll share them with you really quick. And it's commitment, communication, and your ability to serve one another as a married couple. When you think about commitment, we live in a world today where everybody wants instant gratification. There's no commitment behind it. They just want it, and that's all. But commitment has to be a settled issue in your guys' lives, that no matter what you go through, no matter how hard it gets, no matter what changes, you guys are committed to one another. And second of all, communicate. And thank God that you guys don't have a language barrier of communication. Because if you guys couldn't communicate by your language, then it would be pretty difficult to try to communicate. But you guys can both speak to each other in the same language. And so that's a start. But let me tell you, Lionel, communicating with a woman is an art. Sometimes there's a right time to say things, and sometimes there's a completely wrong time to say things. And I'm sure at this point you've kind of picked it up with Vani. She's very expressive, very emotional. And so you have to pick up on these things. And likewise, Vani, you have to see that, sometimes men, we suppress our feelings and we really don't say what we're really trying to communicate. So feel the mood. Listen with the intent to understand, not to respond. There's a difference. When you listen to understand when somebody's talking to you, you're understanding what they're saying. There's emotions behind what they're trying to tell you. There's things going on behind the scenes. So listen to understand, not to just react. That's a very vital ingredient. And thirdly, just learn to keep serving one another with an unselfish love. You ever hear that saying that marriage is a 50-50 thing? No, marriage is not 50-50. Divorce is 50-50. Marriage is 100%. Marriage is 100%. You've got to give 100% to this thing. And sometimes we don't want to give 100%. We get selfish. I know. I can be a very selfish person. And we want to get selfish. We want our ways. We want our needs met. We want what we think is right. And we shut off the other person's perspective or the other person's opinion. So serve one another with an unselfish love. And I know there'll be other things that you guys are going to implement into this, but remember those things. Whenever you guys are going through something, remember those things. Commitment. I'm committed to this. I'm going to communicate, even if sometimes it's challenging. And I'm going to serve this person. I'm going to put them before myself. And I want you to know that you two can go a long, long way if you commit those things to it. And so with this being said, Lionel, will you take Vani to be your wife, to live together in the covenant of faith and hope and love? And will you listen to her deepest thoughts and be tenderhearted and wise of your daily care of her? And will you stand faithfully at this woman's side in sickness and in health? Choosing her above all others, will you undertake to care for the well-being of her mind and her body and her spirit throughout all the events of your lives together?
Yes, I do.
And Vani, will you take Lionel to be your husband, to live together in the covenant of faith, hope, and love? And will you listen to his deepest thoughts and be tenderhearted and wise in your daily care of him? And will you stand faithfully at this man's side in sickness and in health? In choosing him above all others, will you undertake to care for the well-being of his mind, and his body, and his spirit throughout all the events of your lives together?
I do.
You know, folks, when you think about marriage, marriage in itself is not a legal document. It's not the marriage license that Lionel and Vani signed. But marriage is when two people will come together and they'll make promises to one another. And they'll stand upon those promises throughout life. They'll stand upon those promises through the thick and thin, through the rains and through the sunshines. That's what marriage is all about, keeping your promise. Somebody say, keep the promise.
Keep the promise.
Abby, say, keep the promise.
Keep the promise.
Come on, everybody say, keep the promise.
Keep the promise.
You hear that, Lionel? You hear that, Vani? keep your promises. So Lionel and Vonnie, they stand before us to publicly declare their love for one another and share their marriage promises. So like you did this time, Vonnie, you give your bouquet of flowers to your daughter. Hang on to mine. Abby. I want you and Lionel to take each other by both hands. Now Lionel, these are the promises that you come to make today. These are your vows. And so what I want you to do is I want you to repeat what I'm going to say to Vonnie. And to help you out, your sister's going to interpret it in Spanish so that your mom and dad understand what I'm saying. Okay? So I'm going to go slow.
Yes.
Wait till after she says it, and then you repeat it in English to Vonnie. Okay? All right, say this with me. Vonnie, today,
Bonnie, en este día,
Bonnie today,
in the presence
en la presencia
in the presence
of our family and friends,
de tus familiares y amigos,
and the family and friends,
I pledge my devotion. Just say, I pledge my
I
devotion
pledge my
I forgot the word.
of deep love for you.
Doy mis devociones del amor que te tengo.
with deep love for you.
I choose you to be my wife,
Te escogí a ti para que seas mi esposa,
I choose you to be my wife,
my best friend,
mi mejor amiga,
my best friend,
and most importantly,
y lo más importante,
and most importantly,
my partner in life.
mi pareja en la vida.
my partner in life.
I promise
Te prometo
I promise
to care for you
cuidarte
to care for you
in sickness and in health,
to
en
sickness
la
and
salud y en
health,
la enfermedad.
in plenty and in want,
Cuando tengamos o no,
in the pain and in the life,
as long as we both shall live.
mientras los dos vivamos.
as long as we both should live.
I will be faithful to you
Seré fiel,
I'll be faithful to you
and honest with you.
honesto contigo,
and honest with you,
And I promise
y te prometo
and I promise
to make our marriage
hacer nuestro matrimonio,
to make our marriage
and our relationship
nuestra
and our
relación,
relationship
one of faith,
and a faith,
one of hope,
one of hope,
one of trust,
one of trust,
and this I promise
and this I promise
with all my heart.
with all my heart.
Good job. Now, Vonnie, these are the promises you come to make. And so would you please repeat these to Lionel after me? Say this to me, Vonnie. Lionel, today,
Lionel, today,
in the presence
in the presence
of our family and friends,
of our family and friends,
I pledge my devotion
I pledge my devotion
of deep love for you.
of deep love for you.
I choose you
I choose you
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
my best friend,
my best friend,
and most importantly,
and most importantly,
my partner in crime. Excuse me, life.
and my partner in life.
I promise
I promise
to cherish and care for you
to cherish and care for you
in sickness and in health,
and in sickness and in health,
in plenty and in want,
and in plenty and in want,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
I will be faithful to you
I will be faithful to you
and honest with you.
and honest with you,
And I promise
and I promise
to make our marriage
to make our marriage
and our relationship
and our relationship
one of faith,
one of faith,
honesty,
honesty,
and of deep trust.
and of deep trust.
And this I promise
And this I promise
with all my heart.
with all my heart.
Now, like I said, Lionel and Bonnie, those are the promises. You guys have to keep those promises throughout life. And so, you know, as wonderful as life is, there's going to be trying times, there'll be challenging times. But when you guys go through those trying times, Lionel, you just look at Bonnie and tell her, you know what? You promised. You started. You promised.
You promised. You better keep your promise.
That's it. You just make it work. You just make it work. Exactly. You just make it work. Now, today, Vonnie and Lionel have chosen to exchange rings as a seal of their promise. And I want you guys to know that, you know, throughout time, rings have always carried a very special significance. Rings at one time carried a family seal, which was used to guarantee the integrity of a document. And so today, the rings that you two are going to give to one another, they're also going to signify one of life's greatest commitment. And that is your lifelong bond and your promises to one another. So when you wear these rings, always remember, they're not jewelry, they're not bling, they're a seal of your promise. Remember that. So what I'd like you to do at this time is I want you to take each other by the left hand. Your other left. Your other left. Just like that. Grab the other box for me, please. Thank you, your box. Lionel, what I want you to do is I want you to take this ring, and I want you to place it on the fourth finger of your bride's left hand. And I want you to repeat after me. Say this with me. Bonnie,
Bonnie,
I give you these rings
I give you this ring
as a promise
as a promise
of my love for you,
of my love for you,
and with all that I am
and that all that I am,
and all that I have,
and that all that
I honor you.
I have, I honor you.
Now, Bonnie, I want you to just take Lionel's hand, turn it over, reach over with this hand, take that ring. No, take his hand. Take this ring. There you go. Place on the fourth finger of Lionel's shaking left hand. And repeat after me. Say this with me. Lionel, take this ring
Lionel, take this ring
as a symbol
as a symbol
of my devotion to you,
of my devotion to you,
of the gift of love
of the gift of love
that has come to us,
that has come to us,
and as a reminder
and as a reminder
that on this day
that on this day
I accept you
I accept you
as my husband,
as my husband.
and don't ever take it off.
Don't ever take it off.
Okay. Now, what I do at this point, you know, a lot of times marriage is viewed as the union of two individuals, but in reality, marriage is much broader than this. And so today, as we give thanks to God for the love that brings Bonnie and Lionel together, we also too want to recognize the additional love and responsibility that's coming with this relationship. And I would like to introduce somebody that really doesn't need any introduction, and that is Abby. Abby, why don't you come stand for just a second for me, please? Right here between Mom and Lionel. Look at me. You know, today, Abby, Mom and Lionel, they've promised to love one another. They promised to respect one another. They promised to support one another. And you're a special part of this marriage. This is not just marriage. It's not just a marriage between Lionel and Bonnie or Lionel and Mom, but this is you're like the glue that's going to hold this thing together. Because Lionel, he's not only promising to Mom, but he's promising to you too. That he's going to take care of you. That he's going to love you. That he's going to be there for you when you're growing up. That he's going to be that father figure to you. And so just like he gave Mom a ring as a seal of his promise, Lionel wants to give that to you today. That's for you. Give that to her, Lionel. It's a Mickey button that has Mickey and Minnie, because that's your favorite place. And so he wants to, when you wear that button, he wants you to remember that that's the promise that he made to you and your mom, that he's going to be here to love you and take care of you, okay? And it's your responsibility to respect him and to love him, just like Mom does, okay? You promise you'll do that? Okay. Because he's promising he's going to do it for you, okay? All right, go sit down. You two take each other by both hands. Lionel and Bonnie, never forget the beginning of the love that you guys have for each other. You remember when you guys met at work? Remember when you first seen each other? And you just thought, wow, this is a special person. It started off maybe as a friendship. Maybe you guys started spending time with each other, but remember that beginning. Because sometimes we go through life and we forget the beginning. We forget what made you fall in love with that person, what made that person special. Because sometimes as we're going through life, things start getting rough, and then all you're thinking about is, man, this person gets on my nerves. Or you wake up and you look at that person, you again, you know? But if you just keep in your mind what it was that made you first fall in love with the person, keep that fresh in your heart. And I want you to know that when you guys remember that, there's nothing that you two cannot work through together. Just remember that first love. And so by the authority that's given to me as a minister of the gospel by the state of California, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Lionel, you can kiss my daughter. You can kiss your bride. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to introduce to you first time publicly, Mr. and Mrs. Lionel and Bonnie Figueroa. Give them a big hand, folks. Before I let you guys walk down the aisle, if you want to say something to your guest.
I just want to say thank you for each and every one of you to be here. Each and every one of you has been here since the very first day. And I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
How about you, Mr. Figueroa? Why don't you say it in Spanish first for your mom and dad?
Oh, le quiero dar gracias a mis padres por traerme en este mundo, en esta vida, que sé que no es difícil, pero es dura, pero que seguir adelante, echándole ganas con todo lo que se pueda, pero por más agradecido que todos aquí, mi familia está presente, y mis compañeros de trabajo, mis amigos, mi primo. ¿Es todo?
Want to try it in English now?
Yeah.
I think we pretty much understood what he said.
Yeah.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, you know, and I didn't forget, but I want to make mention of this. You know, Lionel lost his brother a couple of years ago, and we know he's not here with us physically, but we know he's looking down from heaven and he's happy and celebrating with his brother today. And so we want to just take a moment just to acknowledge his brother's presence here today, celebrating with his brother today on his wedding day. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to introduce you, Mr. and Mrs. Lionel and Vonnie Figueroa. Give him another big hand.